Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neo. In this video you can see I've got my bare nails. That means I am working on myself today. So we're going to be using our dominant hand to just do a simple set. I had no nails for a few days and it's just painful. My nails are naturally pretty thin and flimsy, and just doing pretty much anything, they get damaged, they rip, they break, and it's just annoying. So I figured let's do something just to carry me over for a little bit. So I'm taking these tips that I used in my previous video. Make sure to check that out. I saw that D Nail Slayer used these and they were a coffin clear tip. They do have a bit of a C curve, a tiny bit of a C curve. I don't enjoy a C curve really on my nails. My nails are pretty flat. But they're not bad. I did cut them down a bit, but I didn't really notice until towards the end. I was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling this curve, but it's a really gorgeous tip. It's a thicker tip, so just, you know, think about that. I am just making sure to make them straight. You see my fingers do a little bit of a wobble, so that's okay. I'm just following the knuckle of my finger, not necessarily the fingertip. We don't want these tips leaning to the right or leaning to the left. We want them to be straight up and down. And I'm using a small bead of glue. I am pressing until the glue fills that half well, and then we have good adhesion. So I cut the tips down. After the set was over, I was like, I can't believe these nails are so short. Like, that's how you know I've been wearing my nails for a little bit now. I'm so used to having these longer nails that this set, when I was done, I was like, ew, these are so short. They look so frumpy and stumpy to me. So that's just funny because I remember maybe a few years ago, this would have been super duper long for me. So it's just a slippery slope. I'm just going in with this 100 grit hand file, and I'm going to be blending the tips and shaping them a little bit more. I like the tapered square look. I'm not really into the coffin unless it's a really long nail. Coffin for me is just a little bit drastic. So I enjoy a tapered square, especially on these shorter nails. So I'm just going to be doing that quickly, just to make myself, give myself a good prep base so that we can start laying some acrylic. And to blend these tips, I thought about using a sanding band, but I didn't use one to prep my nails, and I was just like, I'm not going to waste a brand new sanding band just to blend these tips. So I just used the same hand file, and I am just focusing it on where the tip is of the nail using light pressure. It is 100 grit, so it's pretty coarse, so it blended it down quickly, but you don't want to go over your natural nail too much with this hand file because it is pretty coarse. You're going to strip off some layers of healthy nail that we kind of need because we want to, you know, maintain healthy nails. But I'm just using this hand file very lightly to blend the tip so that we have a smooth transition from the natural nail to the extension. And as you know, if you watch my videos, I am just going in with my regular prep system. This is the Mia Secret Dehydrator. I'm going to go in with a coat of the Mia Secret Extra Bond, and then I like to go in with a thin coat of the Young Nails Protein Bond. The dehydrator just helps to remove any oils that might be on the natural nail. The primer is a primer, kind of like if you were putting on foundation, you would put a primer on first, or if you're painting a wall, you'll put a primer. It just helps with adhesion, and then the Protein Bond is just a fabulous additional primer that I enjoy using. So like always, I'm just gonna start with my Young Nails Pore Clear and give myself a clear acrylic base. Okay, so the brush that I'm using, I recently purchased from a nail supply shop in my area. It is huge, guys. This is a size 14. I normally use a size 14. If you want for reference, go back to my last video and look at that brush compared to this brush. I know that, brands, can number their brushes any size they want, but this brush is so big. And when I say big, I don't mean like width size. I mean how dense it is in terms of the bristles of the hairs. I just felt like I didn't have very much control over the product because I couldn't feel it. The brush was just so thick. It's cool though. It's a big size 14, but I was like, let's try it on myself before I, like mess up on a client. But yeah, I just felt like I didn't have very much control like I normally do. Normally you kind of feel the product. You can kind of like, it feels like the brush is a part of your hand, so you can kind of feel the product on the edge of the brush. No, I didn't feel anything. I was just like, this is what I normally do. I don't know, it doesn't feel the same, but yeah, this brush is juicy. Okay, you see how thick the bristles are? Yeah, it's a great brush though. So yeah, I'm just going in very carefully with my Young Nails Core Clear, and I'm just laying down a clear layer of acrylic so that I can have an easier removal process for myself, like I'm servicing myself, a process, and it helps to protect the natural nail from staining. The colors that we're using today will not be staining, but sometimes it definitely helps. So this set is a TheRedAcrylics set. I haven't used these this brand's products for a while, and I don't know why. I really love her acrylics. So this one is called Capri. It's a mint sheer green acrylic, and it's really beautiful for spring and summer. I saw it and I was like, yeah, I want to try this one. And we're going to be doing some 2-color ombre. It's a really pretty color. I am just focusing on getting a nice bit of coverage. As you can see, you can kind of see my natural free edge through the acrylic. It is sheer, so if you want, go in with a little bit more layers, but I didn't really mind. And we're going to be ombreing over that with a natural nude kind of color, so it didn't really bother me. So I'm applying this on the tip of my thumb, my pointer finger, and my pinky. We're going to be doing some fun stuff on the other 2 fingers. The color that I'm going to be 2-color ombreing this with is my favorite of all time, Nail Plate Nude. It glows in the dark. I talk about it all the time on this channel. It is Terra Ui by TheRedAcrylics, and it's basically my oatmeal acrylic. I call it oatmeal because it's basically the color of like really gorgeous oatmeal. I don't know how to describe it. It's like a really soft kind of cool toned nude, but it has these flecks of like brown and black spots in it that look like oatmeal. It's just really gorgeous, and it glows in the dark. I forget every time, and it always surprises me, and I just love this color. So that's basically what's happening here. I'm just placing these beads of acrylic towards the middle of the nail down to the tip of the tip, and then I'm going to be ombreing on the back sides of it. And this is that color, Terra Ui by TheRedAcrylics. I love this color. It's my favorite nude color, I think, of all time. It never fails me. It's really soft. It's not swaying too much in one way, like it's too pinky or it's too orangey or it's too flat and beigey. It's just like the perfect nail plate nude, simple, kind of brown color. I don't know. Maybe you look at it and you're like, it's just a regular brown, but for me, this color just does it, you know? I don't know. I really love it. So this middle finger is just gonna be a solid nude nail. I'm gonna ombre the rest, and then my ring finger, we're gonna do something special a little bit later. So I'm going for a shimmery glitter nail on the ring finger. I was looking around and couldn't find any green shimmer acrylics that I had, so I just figured I'd take some ether flakes from iGel Beauty. This is the F21 color. It kind of reflects green and purple, and I'm just using, as you can see, my wet brush and placing those flakes on the nail in just a random manner. I don't want to completely cover the nail. I want it to be kind of see-through, but you want everywhere to at least have some type of shimmer. So that's what I'm doing. After that, we are going to clear cap all of these nails with my Young Nails Core Clear, just building up for strength and protecting the glitter and or the ombres that we've set already. And here is what that's looking like right after clear capping, just an application shot. I'm going to be going in with a fine, narrow carbide bit from Pana. I love these bits, these narrow bits. They just feel like I have so much more control. I'm using my new Coupa Me file. I do have a open unboxing and beginning review of this coming out soon, but I didn't want to release it just because I want to spend a little bit more time with the e-file. I've been using a different one for a long time, so I've been using this one for about a month now, and I'm enjoying it, but I still just kind of want to get a better, feel for it. But I'm using it at like a medium high speed, and we are just smoothing out the surface of the nail, cleaning up the sidewalls, removing that acrylic that might be touching the skin, and smoothing the length of the nails, and debulking wherever necessary. I'm going back in with that same 100-100 hand file, and we're just going to be finessing the shade, cleaning up anything on the sidewalls, filing the undersides. You might see me filing the sidewalls of the tip. That's just because it is a C-curve and I don't really enjoy having that curve along the sides of my nail, so I try to, file it off a little bit. But yeah, I'm just fixing the shape of the nails and making sure that the free edge is nice and sharp. And here we are after filing. Everything is looking nice and sharp. We're gonna snap for magic, nice and clean, and then we're gonna get started on finishing up this set. So next thing that I wanted to do was add some bling. I've been using my Zule bling adhesive a lot, so I figured I'd go back to my original, method that I started off with the bling gel and top coat. We are going matte with this set. Like if I'm gonna use my favorite brown acrylic, we're gonna go matte with my favorite matte top coat. So I'm using the Two Guys bling gel. This is a no wipe, but if you want it to be glossy, that's totally fine. But because we're going matte, after applying that bling gel all over this nail, I'm going to then, before curing, add my matte top coat. This is just going to give me another layer of gel to stick the bling into so that it gets a full seal all around. And you can add a different top coat finish to the top of your gel. You don't have to add your bling and then try and paint around it, potentially getting matte top coat on your shiny rhinestones. So this is a method that I really like. You're gonna see the downfall to this method. It is gravity. It is a huge factor on my middle finger when I do a little bit heavier bling, but on this finger, we're just adding 3 stones in a diagonal manner, 2 medium-sized stones, and then a tiny one towards the free edge. Once the placement is great, I'm going to cure for a full 60 seconds and we'll have a beautiful matte nail with rhinestones nicely placed in them. I'm doing the same thing on the middle finger. We're going to go in with a little bit heavier bling. Like I mentioned with the bling gel method of adhering rhinestones or charms or anything, gravity is a huge factor. You're adding these thick gels, so that bling gel is a really thick consistency gel, then you're adding a thick matte top coat. Gravity's a thing. So when you place these gems and you're, placing more and organizing them how you want them, they're going to slowly be shifting to the right or to the left or however you're holding your hand. You're totally going to see it when I start placing my bling. Best thing to do is just to work as fast as you can. What I decided to do while doing this set was to use my little LED flashlight and kind of flash cure the bling right when I was ready to go. That way I knew it wasn't going to move. Just make sure that if you are going to flash cure, you are set with how you want them to be. Otherwise, you're just going to stick them down in places where they don't want them to be. So these are pretty large stones, consider it, for this nail. And you're going to see slowly, I think the next stone that I place, this big diamond one, is going to be sliding down the length of my nail a little bit as I'm working. So that's just something to consider. How you're holding your hand. You see my finger is faced down. That stone is going to be continuously sliding around. But you just need to, keep that in mind if you're using this method. Once you're set, cure for another 60 seconds, and then you've got a finished nail. So I couldn't leave the rest of the nails bare. I figured let's add a teeny bit of bling. I do enjoy bling, so I'm adding, as you can see, just a swipe of that bling gel. We're going in with that matte top coat, and we're gonna add 3 little tiny rhinestones going vertically down the length of the nail. Here you're gonna see me flash curing because I did all 3 nails at the same time, and I was like, ooh girl, you're so dumb. They're gonna slide around. So I would do one nail, flash cure it, then do the next nail with the bling, then flash cure it. And then when I was done, I put my hand in the LED light and let them all cure for a full 60 seconds. And then to bring in the spring, I am going to be doing some 3D flowers on this ring finger that had the iridescent flakes encapsulated. So this is what I did those 3 stones for in that diagonal manner. We're going to be building 3 flowers around those stones. So I'm starting at the cuticle. We're just going to be doing 3 little flower petals, and it's like simple daisy kind of round petal shapes. I'm picking up a bead of acrylic. My little brush, I'm using a size 4 brush for these back petals. I'll be using a size 2 brush for the tiny flower towards the front. But basically I'm dipping into 2 different colors because that green is so sheer. When I placed it originally, you couldn't really see it. So I'm dipping into that sheer Capri color by TheRedAcrylics, and then I'm dipping into a slightly darker, deeper turquoise shimmery green from Mia's Secret called Martini Blue, and it just helped to ground the petals so that we can actually see them on that nail. So that's about the size of the bead with the 2 different colors. I dip into the light green, then into the darker green. As you can see, towards the rhinestone, there's a little bit of the darker color, and then on the edge is that lighter color. That's a really cool thing to do. You get a little bit more dimension in your 3D flowers that way. And the best advice I can give to do 3D flowers is to just make sure that you keep tapping your brush. You want a dry brush when you're doing this, especially to flatten out and get texture in your flowers. You place your bead, you kind of let it set for a bit, and then you just keep patting it, putting most of the pressure towards the rhinestone and just letting the back of the bristles kind of fan the petal outwards so you get that nice round shape, but the indent in the middle. And then going back to different beads. So like you see, I'm going to keep going back to the bead that I worked on before because it's still a little bit wet, and that's how you get that texture in your petals, things like that. So that's basically it. When I get to that small flower, you're going to see I'm using a tinier brush. It's a size 2 brush that I got from Pana, and it just worked out. It's really, look, I switched right here. That's the size 2 brush compared to the size 4 brush. It's basically like a ballpoint pen, but I really wanted some tiny, tiny rhinestones. So this is the last thing that I'm doing on this set, and then we're pretty much going to be done. So here's what my set came out looking like. It's super pretty and soft, and I love the sheer green. It's really, really fun for spring. The only thing that I would change is I would add a little bit more length because these nails just look so short to me, but I really hope you like it. Like this video if you do, subscribe for more. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.